Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Starladder Season 8, Day 10. We're now here with game number 6. We've got Fnatic in their third and final match of the day, now facing off against QPAD. They're coming off not so hot of an 0-2 Spoth Alliance, as well as the last match we saw. They just played Alliance against Alliance and Poseidon, pardon me. So we'll see how they fare against QPAD, Red Pandas. Zayori with me again is Merlini. Merlini, thoughts here coming into Fnatic's third match?
Pandas, Fnatic shouldn't struggle versus them, judging by QPanda's performance yesterday, which was definitely not too hot. So I'm not really expecting too much out of them this game, especially since they have a couple of stand-ins.
Yeah, and it looks like the same stand-ins that we saw yesterday. Remaining. We've got Stompa over there and Wern. I know Wern was, and I think Stompa was the guy as well. So, familiar stand-ins, but stand-ins nonetheless. We talked about Jerax, no longer part of their roster. So, I'm certainly right that QPAD have been a little bit underwhelming in their performance. But should still give Fnatic, hopefully, a run for their money. Maybe the Fnatic morale hurting a little bit after those last two losses. But time will tell. They do ban out the Furion as well as the Venomancer. Two heroes that Fnatic do use quite well. And that will be a first pick Elder Titan, Bane, Mirana grabbed by QPAD to start things off. And a Crystal Maiden second pick for Fnatic. So, yeah, fairly standard so far. QPAD really like that Bane Mirana combo though. They ran that at least a couple times yesterday.
It's a pretty standard combo, nothing special there. It looks like QPAD has actually banned out the Invoker, something that we did not see in any of the previous games that Fnatic played today.
Yeah. Yeah, but Invoker is one of those pocket picks that they can do. We have seen it before, so I see where QPAD are coming from. But, yeah, interesting nonetheless. Bounty Hunter going to be their final ban. Another hero that's fallen off a little bit. Following 6.79, there was a lot of talk about Bounty Hunter being unbelievable. Now that neutrals share experience within the radius, Bounty Hunter can just really make the life of those supports in the jungle living hell, which is still true to a pretty strong degree, but his popularity has really seemed to fall off.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened to him too. He was like really popular at one point at 6.79 and just fit into the playstyle. Maybe it's just prevalence of like a lot more tanky heroes like Alchemist, Dragon Knight, Doombringer, all of these tanky heroes just kind of mess with Doom if you can't or mess with Bounty Hunter if you can't get a quick kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, that 5-man gem strat does kind of slow him down a little bit. But yeah, yes, you're right. Some teams just don't favor him, I suppose. Chen will be the third pick here for QPAD. So, still a pretty standard draft for them thus far. I'm not sure who their Chen player is, though. It's one of the things about Chen. You do need someone with those micro skills.
Yes, you do. I don't know either. I think probably one of their stand-ins. Wagamama is usually the solo mid. Stompa has typically been on the support in the games that we have watched, and I don't know who their other two players are. Oh, Durham and
Durham, and I don't know who Release the is. That's recognize Durham. I might be able to find it if I pull up their stats here. Blue Banana. Well, it's supposed to be Blue Banana. That's the one that we've been seeing.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if that's him.
Yeah.
I haven't. I didn't check the profile, so we can check it when we get into the game. But yeah, Blue Banana is that fifth that we saw yesterday with him.
10 seconds remaining.
So EO going to be grabbed by Fnatic here. We saw EO last game, although played by Alliance. One of Fnatic's signature heroes, especially in 6.79. Most definitely going to be No Tails Wisp. We'll see who he pairs it with. A lot of scary heroes still in the pool. CK, Tiny, Ursa, all three very prevalent EO pairings.
Yeah, some very, very scary EO heroes still left. Alchemist banned out pretty early by Fnatic, and that hero is just, like, he's just been so powerful in 6.78 and 6.79, like the quote-unquote chemical rage nerf didn't really seem to nerf him that badly.
Yeah. Alchemist has still been very, very prevalent, and it's nice to see him in an array of positions. He's always been one of those heroes that, yeah, you can put him mid, but not many people did it too frequently. Now S4 making it almost a signature thing. He did it twice today. and worked pretty well. You know, as you mentioned, that acid spray traditionally sort of thought of as great against melee heroes, but hell, it works against ranged heroes as well because that AoE is just so big. So I'm not surprised to see Alchemist banned out, but it is going to be Tiny that Fnatic are going to run here. And, well, they've had a pretty good bit of success with EO, Tiny together, and the Crystal Maiden on top of that. The Arcane Aura going to help Tiny's sustainability, Wisp as well. Pretty well-rounded draft so far. Can never go wrong with an Elder Titan.
Yep. Elder Titan, just amazing hero, and going back to the roots with the EO Fnatic, something that they have run to quite a lot of success, and I'm surprised that we didn't see him in any of the matchups today. They kind of like skipped over to Wisp in favor of other heroes in their last draft versus Alliance.
Let's be fair here. Game 1, Wisp was banned out. They couldn't pick him. He was first banned. Game 2, Alliance snagged him. I guess Fnatic could have picked him.
In the third phase, though. Yeah, they could have picked him.
It was a third pick. Okay, all right. So I'll give you that one. But he was banned out in the first game.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
It was a nice deny
I
pick
wasn't
from
there.
Alliance.
I wasn't there for that draft.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. All right, fair enough. Too hard on you, Merlini. My bad. Magnus going to be the final pick here for QPAD.
Fnatic's turn.
Don't particularly like Magnus here. Firstly, there's no melee heroes to empower. Secondly, Clinks often is forced to get a BKB, so Empower's not useful for him. Thirdly, they don't really need to turtle. Magnus is extremely good at turtling, extremely good on mass 5-on-5, but it doesn't really work well with their strategy. Bane, Potom, not your 5-on-5 heroes. Chen with an early push. Magnus not really in a synergy there. And Clinks is kind of just like a split pusher and applies pressure and picks off people too once he gets his Orchid. So, like, all in all, QPanda's like draft is just everywhere. They have Bane and Rana for the lane control, Chen for early push, and they have just like a mix of everything, but not really good at anything. I wouldn't even say they're a jack of all trades. It's just like they're like somewhat subpar in every area. They're like lane control is weak, their team fight is weak, their push is decent, I suppose, and our late game is like decent. But Fnatic has a much more aggressive, in-your-face lineup. They have the synergy with Storm Spirit and EO, just being able to jump on people. The huge damage output from Tiny, Storm, and Elder Titan is going to be ridiculous. And they have decent early game control, Crystal Maiden, to compensate for EO's lack of one.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think the QPAD draft just a bit lackluster. They're one of these drafts where they have 5 individually powerful heroes that are semi-prevalent in our current meta, but when put together, I don't see the synergy, and I worry that they're going to start falling behind very, very quickly. And Fnatic, one of those teams, whenever they have Tiny Wisp, if they get just a little bit of momentum with that duo, it often ends up turning into a lot of momentum, which is very scary. Also, Hani on Storm Spirit can very quickly get out of control, and if memory serves, Storm Spirit fares pretty well against Magnus in a solo mid lane. All else equal.
Yes, he does.
So
and Hani's a much better Storm player than he is a Magnus player. Like his Magnus in the Poseidon game was just not good. Yeah. Like maybe they wanted to like make him practice on the hero. That's what I suspect, because I think they know that Hani's Magnus is just not good.
I mean, they must know. He landed 2 RPs total the entire game.
I've seen it like at least like 3 or 4 times, I think, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like please put him on a different hero. His Invoker is just so good compared to his Magnus. Like the skill discrepancy in between those 2 heroes for him is just a world of difference. So they're just doing themselves a disservice by putting him on there. And yeah, maybe you practice a lot with him, and maybe they view the Poseidon game as a practice game, but it seems like he needs like a lot of practice with him.
And I think you hit the nail on the head that the heroes that Hani tends to thrive with are Storm Spirit type heroes, where you can hop in, hop out, and you have a sort of a throw a few darts and land one on a bullseye, whereas Magnus is you get one throw and it's kind of got to be a bullseye. You don't have that wiggle room. You don't have that same level of margin for error. And I think that's kind of a good way to sum up Hani's play style. So we'll see how he fares on Storm Spirit here. Again, it's interesting to see Fnatic in 3 back-to-back matches, and sort of against teams of varying tiers. You got Alliance at the upper tier, you've got Poseidon kind of in the middle, and then you've got QPAD here with their stand-ins as sort of like that third tier if you were to rank those teams. So sort of interesting just to see Fnatic do the gauntlet here. But alas, creeps have spawned. Now let's go ahead and introduce our rosters. Here on the Radiant side, we do have Team Q Panda, aka QPAD. We've got Wern playing on Magnus down here in the safe lane, going to be supported by the other stand-in Stompa on the Bane. They've got Durham going to be on the Chen in the Radiant jungle to start things off. That means Wagamama going to be solo mid on the Clinks, and it's going to be an off-lane Mirana being played by Blue Banana. I like that he put his name in there for us. That's very nice of him. On the Dire side, we've got Fnatic. Era and No-Tail going to be in the top lane. Of course, Era going to be farming away on that Tiny. No-Tail going to be playing his signature Wisp. Fly going to be in the jungle on the Crystal Maiden to start things off. Hani going to be in the mid lane playing on that Storm Spirit up against the Clinks. And then, of course, it is going to be Trixie in the off lane up against this interesting duo of Bane Magnus. Now, I'm really scratching my head that, Magnus is not solo here, and they picked Bane Mirana, but they're not even using the combo.
Yeah, that is a very big question mark in my eyes too. And yeah, Bottom's probably not going to die in this off lane, but Tiny's not going to have a very hard time. Her right click is very, very weak. There is a Wisp there to help him out, and Tiny has a Stout Shield too. So Bane Magnus, you have like the sleep skewer back in the tower, but with the off lane changes and the creep wave being up here, Fnatic Trixie is not going to be close to tower. And now Stompa looks like he's going to be jungling with Durham, and there is a smoke, so maybe they'll get a kill on Hani very early. They do need to keep Hani down. Wagamama, not the best gank partner as a level 3 Clinks, but still can provide plenty of right clicks. Looks like they may be going the long way around Hani, waiting for that 2-minute rune and QPAD. Looks like they want to go for him. Hani.
Yeah, he is going to go for the illusion here that does spawn in the top position. And may get caught. It is just a Hellbear Smasher, so it could be a little bit worse here, but he's going to get put in the Nightmare straight away. The Thunderclap going to come. It looks like it did connect with him. Hani headed for the hills. The arrow going to fly. That's going to connect. A beautiful arrow coming out from the Mirana. And No-Tail trying to keep him alive as he does tether with his bottle charge. A noble effort from the little Wisp, but unfortunately not going to be enough to keep the Storm Spirit alive. Still, that arrow from Blue Banana, very on point there.
Yep, if he dodges the arrow, it's they should be able to survive there. And he got a little bit lucky with the illusions too, because, well, I guess if he got a haste, he could have escaped. If he got an invis, he also could have escaped. So maybe a little bit unlucky with the illusion, but still using the illusion ring to great effect by waking himself up with a sleep so he can run away before Clinks gets there.
Yeah, nice little play in the moment there to use those illusions. Good tip to you guys out there as well. If you have an illusion, you can use those to steal the Nightmare off yourself. Crafty little play indeed. So QPAD is going to be off to a good start, though. It's exactly what they needed. As you mentioned, their laning phase, well, not too powerful. And slowing down Hani is definitely a step in the right direction, though Hani still actually winning the CS battle here against Wagamama. He is 13-1 against the 11-2 Clinks. And up here in the top lane, Mirana is 5-1, level 2, so she's doing okay. Now I'm going to be level 3, so I'm going to grab a little bit of experience, though Elder Titan still having a slightly better time, sitting 7-1 and actually level 4. Already, so those offlaners still going the way of Fnatic, and as you mentioned, Tiny just having a grand old time, 16-7 compared to the 17-9 Magnus, who is essentially free farming down here in the bottom.
Yeah, but free farming Magnus is like, it's like meh compared to a free farming Tiny. Tiny is just scales much better with items. Yeah, it's nice to have the RP and blink and stuff, but if Storm jumps on you or Tiny relocates on you and you get stunned, you're gonna die. And it's not that bad before the Magnus versus Wisp or Magnus versus Wisp matchup, because it used to be like if you blink into tether, you get stunned and then you die. But now if you blink, you can still get your spells off. So I think we may see more Magnus picks. Yep. Versus Wisp.
That's a good point. That tether change, I really like that change as well. I've commented on it a few times, but I just always felt like that was such a good way to limit the power of Wisp, because he was so strong for so long and still sort of hold true to what that hero brings to the table. I thought that was a pretty crafty change.
It might be like a little bit too much of a change though, because you can still move. It's 100% move speed slow, but it doesn't mean you can't move, because there is a minimum move speed. I think if it like rooted and if it rooted you instead, it might be like somewhat similar to where it was before, but still not nerfed to the point where EO is just not that popular. I mean, I guess Wisp is still seeing some play, so it's not, apparently it's not that bad.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. If it was a root in place instead of just the massive slow, that would definitely increase his popularity, no doubt about that. Trixie, just some crafty work here, trying to make something happen perhaps. He was invisible, but is just going to head back to lane. And uh-oh, Trixie could be in a little bit of trouble here. Wagamama starting to chip away at him. Trixie's going to fall. What was that all about? He was hiding in the trees there. Was he trying to set something up on Chen? I'm struggling to understand what the master plan was there.
I'm not sure.
Huh.
Feed Wagamama?
Yeah, that was an odd play. I'm really scratching my head at that.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't like go around the trees too. Like he can just fog. It's nighttime. It's very difficult for Clinks to catch up. And if you just run around circles, it's pretty difficult for them to kill. Chen didn't have a useful creep. He had a wild cannon at the time, so that's not going to help him chase him down either. So he could have eaten a tree, walked around, and just wasted enough of Wagamama's time at least. But he really didn't waste anyone's time. No Tail going to die to potentially 3 hits from Wagamama.
Or is he? No Tail going to move into the trees. Exactly what you were talking about. Going to sip that bottle. Now Wagamama going to be in some trouble. He is going to get Vortex. There's the dust. And they are going to have vision. Are they going to have enough to finish him off? Yep, Hani going to zip forward. And a little bit of health going to come out. Compliments of that wand, but not going to be enough to keep him alive. No Tail actually going to grab that last hit with the spirits. Still nicely played. They do turn it around. That's what Trixie needed to do. Hide in the trees and wait for some support. But still nicely played by No Tail there.
Yeah, having the dust too, very important in killing him. I think he could have popped it a slightly earlier because one of Hani's attack misses, and they were very, very close to running out of mana on Hani. He almost didn't have enough mana for that last jump.
Very close indeed, but 6-minute mark is going to be a double damage rune. Spawns at the bottom position. Hani is going to be the one to grab it up, so he is going to be able to regenerate a bit of mana here and possibly set up a kill if they catch someone. Double damage is quite powerful here at this pretty early juncture in the match, and it looks like QPAD are going to group up and rotate their way towards the mid. They may bump into Hani and Trixie. Courier are going to drop off some power treads there for the Storm Spirit. Wagamama just scouting it out. Of course, does see the double damage. Arrow going to fly, is going to connect with Trixie. He's going to be that targeted choice, and he is going to fall. Wagamama going to be the one to grab that kill. Now Warren going to come in, looking for an RP, is going to cancel it. Still has it up. I don't think he's going to be able to catch Hani here. Yeah, he's going to zip to the high ground. And that'll be the end of it. All the while, though, Era just free farming up in the top. He did go Midas first. So he is picking up some absolute free farm here. Still number 2 on the net worth chart. Compliments of Clinks getting those couple of kills. He is 3-1-0. But, yeah, Era off to a good start here in terms of farm. Now going to take over as the CS leader.
Tiny's one of those heroes that doesn't actually need to run away from Clinks. Even if he gets an Orchid, he can probably still right-click him, especially with Wisp help. Wagga gets jumped on.
Yeah, Wagga going to get jumped. There's the dust from No Tail as he tethers in. They're going to try to chase him down. Chen going to be nearby to try and help. 1 or 2 more ought to do it. That's going to be enough. Hani going to grab that last auto attack again. A very close call, basically out of mana. And does manage to survive. Unfortunately, they're not going to get it for free, though. Chen going to be able to turn it around on the Wisp, and that makes it a 1-for-1 Wisp for Clinks, but obviously Fnatic going to be happy with that. They'll happily trade their position 5 for the mid-hero.
Yep. Arrow putting some or getting pressured by the Magnus on top, just constantly being spammed, and he without Wisp there to back him up, he's sitting at a very dangerous HP. Fly, I haven't seen any of this game on the Crystal Maiden, but there he is.
Yeah, he's been in the jungle primarily. He is level 4 and is going that semi-passive build, 1-1-2 right now at level 4, 2 points in the Arcane Aura, and just trying to harass back Warren a bit, open up more space for Era, and he'll be successful on that front. If he pokes far forward ahead again, I think Fly may be able to set up a kill here. So Warren playing very cautiously, and rightfully so.
He just needs to wait until it skewers up at least.
Yeah. And down here, Trixie still trying to soak up a little bit of experience. Though he's had this kind of awkward game where he is 18-1, still doing pretty well as an offlaner. But unfortunately, he's conceded at least 1 unnecessary death. The other was that arrow. But 0-2-0 to start things off.
Yeah, the death in mid was a little bit strange too. They were sitting on top of an observer ward, but they don't have a sentry ward. It's sentry ward's over here, so it'll reveal like over here. But Clinks just stood over here. They got arrowed during nighttime, and that was an easy fight for them. But yeah, they're just taking very strange engagements. Trixie being in their jungle in unnecessarily compromising positions.
Absolutely. Again, I just keep going back to how much farm Era has right now. They're giving him so much space. I think the Midas first here for Era was such a smart choice. And, I mean, his farm is just going to start to skyrocket, especially once No Tail hits level 6, which is just a moment away. 1 or 2 more creep kills, and they're going to be all over the place. And that's when things are really going to get rough here for QPAD. Wisp just turns into a completely different hero upon the level 6 mark.
It's really on the Magnus to get them through the mid game. Yeah, QPAD is up right now in terms of gold, in terms of kills too. But the momentum is going to completely change if No Tail gets like 1 or 2 successful relocate ganks, and Bane is just not very good at dealing with it too. Potom, he's like okay, I guess, with Moonlight Shadow. He actually doesn't have Moonlight Shadow, and he's level 7. And Clinks, if he gets relocated upon, he's very likely to die too. But it's going to be interesting to see if Fnatic can actually catch Clinks, though, with the relocate ganks, because he can just simply walk away for the most part. If you toss Wisp on him, he still isn't going to be moved by or slowed by that much. So I think Storm has to do a lot of the catching Storm duty, or catching Clinks duties.
Yeah. We did see a noble effort from Fly. Did throw down a Sentry Ward here as they were heading for that 10-minute rune, hoping Clinks would poke his head too far forward, but Wagamama, he knew better, didn't fall for it. He did just back up. Right now, Clinks on treads and a Ring of Aquila. Probably going to be working towards that Orchid. That is kind of that classic item on Clinks. And here we go, bottom lane. Hani going to zip forward, looking to engage onto Blue Banana. No Tail going to bring down Era as well. This should be a kill on the Priestess of the Moon. Hand of God comes out, but Blue Banana going to be the first to fall. There's the RP, going to catch No Tail and Era. And that will be the end of the Tiny. Looks like No Tail may fall. Hani trying to get a recovery kill, trying to finish off that Magnus. He's going to get the last auto attack, but it's going to settle down as a 3 for 2. Not what Fnatic were looking for right there. A nice leap from Mirana to start it off. And unfortunately, that RP just too much for the Tiny and the Wisp to handle.
Yeah, nice RP there. And he really has to get like Tiny and or Wisp and burst one of them down before the relocate ends, if he wants to do that before turning most of the team fights. Also, Magnus doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet. He had Freeform on bottom, and I don't really know where his gold went. He has Arcane Boots, but still 15 or 1,600 gold away from his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I mean, his CS just isn't that great. 35 and 11. He did swap lanes with the Mirana as well, and that kind of did help just to hold him back. But yeah, his farm just not that great. Swapping lanes
to be a lot better.
Help. Yeah, it definitely should be.
He could have his Blink by now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So, unfortunate for Fnatic down there in that fight, but still nothing too crazy on the graph happening. QPAD still with a very, very minor gold lead. And oh, Elder Titan got picked off by Clinks. Pardon me, I did miss that one. Just come around the backside. Was that a smoke or was that just caught him with a Centaur stun?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Bottom, we haven't really seen much do anything this game either. She didn't get shut out at the top. She did get a decent amount of experience, but yeah, just really quiet on her front. Usually we see Mirana's way more active, especially with a Bane and like a Magnus on her team. You can set some nice things out, walk them on the mid.
Yep, they're going to try to engage here, and there's the conversions from the EO Tiny, and oh, Stompa, he's going to port right into the mix of it. And he's actually going to get caught by that Avalanche stun, I think. That's going to be 2 easy kills for Fnatic. They would have been happy with 1. And they're going to walk away with an extra one, basically for free. Stompa just
I'm surprised he carried out that TP. That was like such a risky TP from him.
Yeah. What are these creeps doing? What is this? Where did these guys come? Are these from the top lane? What?
Where? Oh,
weird.
I'm not exactly sure.
They ran mid, now they're running back top. So.
Yeah, maybe like Era was taking them, and then they like relocated mid or something. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, that's weird. It is good. It might open up a free tower for him here, though. It is. I mean, they probably would have been able to get it anyway, but still, that creep wave made that an easy push. That was weird. I guess if the creeps are aggroed on you and then you relocate, and there's no creeps nearby, they don't know what to do, so they just chase you to wherever you're going. Wow.
Yeah, that's an interesting interaction.
Yeah, a little stroke of luck for Fnatic there, but that is going to be the gold swing in their favor. Going to follow up with 2 kills and a tower, 1,500 gold lead, now about a 1,200 experience lead. And they may try to initiate up here. Looks like they may. Wagamama going to start it off. He's going to try to finish off No Tail. Avalanche stun going to come out. The combo not going to be enough to finish him. And an RP does come out onto Era. Zip forward here from Hani. He's going to try to engage on Stompa. Era just going toe-to-toe with Wagamama. That'll be the end of the Bane. Clink's going to fall as well. Looks like Era may actually survive to tell the tale. Yes, he will. Mirana on his way up, but now he's going to be in trouble. Hastrun on Hani. Mirana not going to have a lot of room to go here. Not going to have leap for another 15. Hani might be able to do this. Oh, he is. That's going to be an easy kill. That'll be a 4 for Wisp. Oh, man. Exactly what Fnatic were hoping for right there. That Tiny. He is a force to be reckoned with. He's got his drums already. He's nice and tanky, and he survived. Very well played.
Did you see that Craggy proc?
Yeah.
That was so lucky. It was level 1, so we're talking about a 10% chance, and I think he got like 2 hits off, he gets Craggy, and then immediately dies afterwards because Toss comes off cooldown, so QPAD was like pigging him out to focus him down during the RP and the grip, but he was just way too low, and if he gets Craggy in melee range, he'll just get tossed. He can just throw the mag to clinks and he'll die. So a little bit unfortunate for them. They tried to use a Chen heal as well as bottle up, but just not enough.
Yep. Well done. Well done indeed. And that's one of the great things about Tiny pairing with the Wisp. He does a good bit of burst damage. He hits hard, and also he's pretty damn tanky. Craggy helps, but he's just got a pretty large hit point pool as well. Especially going Power Tread's now just going to be working towards that Ag Scepter. No big surprise there. His core on Tiny to get that big branch. And he's about halfway there. Does have the point booster as well as the Ogre Club. Actually, a little more than halfway there with another 600 in the bank. And that will be another Midas on the side of the Dire. Of course, Team Fnatic. That's going to be in the inventory of Trixie. And, oh, that's weird. Not a single Midas on the side of QPAD.
Midas is really useful for Chen creeps, and especially useful in this particular game because they need to be able to kill the Chen creep so that Cleans can't death pack them mid-fight. And we see some teams run Chen and Clinks a lot just because you have that death pack always available to you if you need to eat it during team fights. And it has extra HP from Persuasion.
That's true. That is an interesting little bit of synergy between those two heroes. You basically have on-demand creeps for you in those team fights. That's a good thing to point out indeed. But a big item pickup on the side of Fnatic as well. Hani now going to have himself an Orchid here at the 16-minute mark on that Storm Spirit. And he is actually smoked up, headed down to the bottom lane. So maybe looking for someone. Oh, sorry, my camera just freaked out for a second. Moused over the mini-map by mistake. But yeah, Orchid up nice and early on Hani. Does give him a good bit of aggression here. And I think he'll rotate towards the mid lane, where most of a good portion of QPAD are stationed anyhow. But Fnatic very quickly picking up momentum here. I mean, what are your thoughts, Merlini? What does QPAD do to grab some of this momentum back? How do you stop the Tiny
Blink
Wisp
Magnus.
combo?
Get some big RPs like they did on bottom.
Yeah, he still doesn't have that blink. Only 1800. Wow.
Yeah, once he gets that, they can probably try and turn something around. But still, they don't have that big wombo combo. Like if they don't kill Storm, he'll just zip out. If they don't kill Wisp and Tiny, they'll just relocate out. So it's still pretty difficult for them, and they have to get the Wisp too because Wisp can still relocate out people. They just get RP'd. So yeah, I mean it's all done to execution. Can QPAD is actually execute and get a good RP combo off, or is Fnatic going to actually be able to split up and use their defensive cooldowns to escape and live?
And Hani going to be in the Radiant jungle right now. Clinks is going to walk by and he's going to scout it out. Clink's not going for Orchid first, is working towards a BKB. So not going to be that super aggressive Clinks. But two big items grabbed simultaneously here. Wern on the Magnus going to grab his Blink finally. And with that, Tiny going to grab himself an Ag Scepter. So now he's got that big branch with him. And he's going to be cleaving all over the place. It's when Tiny starts to get a little bit scary.
This should have more map control right now. With a Chen and a Clinks, they should make Fnatic feel a little bit threatened, especially Wisp before he gets a Ghost Scepter. And they should be able to do Roshan, but they're just a little bit too far behind in this early game. 7,500 gold lead for Fnatic, 18 minutes in, and without a single tower down.
Yeah, exactly right. Tower count is 2-0 right now, but oh, here's the initiation. Wagamama going to come in. It is going to be on Fly. Nice and snare from that Dark Troll. And that will be a single kill going the way of QPAD. Nice coordination there. Not that it was too hard to pull off, but still nicely played. Hand of God did come out as well, so that is a big cooldown. That will not be available if Fnatic tries to take a fight here. They're mid-tier 1, going to take some pressure. They will use the Glyph. And up in the top here, there's the Tiny Wisp. They're going to go bottom. I was thinking, oh man, they're going to port mid. Nope, they're going to go for a tier 2 for tier 1 exchange. So Fnatic's still going to find the better of it.
Yep, Storm Spirit getting pretty darn big.
Yep.
He needs to start searching for kills if possible, if QPAD is like split up and separate themselves very easily for kills. But as it stands right now, they're all grouped up looking for a kill on Trixie.
Oh, exactly right. Trixie going to get skewered back into the Fiend's grip. I don't think Elder Titan's going to survive this one. Nope, down he goes. And down in the bottom lane, Storm Spirit actually going to be able to catch the Clinks while that was happening. So it at least makes it a 1-for-1. Clinks for the Elder Titan. And there's going to be a smoke used by Notel and Era as they rotate into the mid game. Why did I say
now
mid-game?
Fnatic makes them pay for using 2 ultimates on one hero. Now they just take the T1 tower mid. They take Roshan if they want to. They just turn up the aggression for the next 2 minutes.
Yep, and oh, they're going to walk right into the Chen. That'll be an easy kill. Down he goes. Era going to be the one to grab that. And now this tier 1 in the mid lane will definitely be, but an easy push. Oh man, that Tiny. He hits hard. He hits fast when he's tethered. And that will finish off that tower, so that will be 4-1 in total tower count, of course, in favor of Fnatic here. And their gold and experience lead, actually the graph's almost identical here, about 10,000 in both. Third Midas picked up as well. Fly on the Crystal Maiden, going to grab his, as well as the dreaded Tranquil Boots here.
Era starting a Roshan.
Yep, exactly right here. 20-minute mark. And he's going to start chipping away at it. Now let's take a look at vision. I don't think QPandas have anything. Nope, they're going to get counter-warded here. And they've got no vision around the Roche pit. They may be suspicious, but there is still a Hani on the map, so that is play with the logic of it a little bit, I suppose. Makes this a little bit from Fnatic. Looks like QPAD not going to contest it. And Fnatic are going to grab themselves a free, easy Roshan here at the 21-minute mark. That egg is going to go to Aaron, no doubt. And he's already got a Hyperstone. Part of the reason he attacked so fast, I hadn't noticed. But going to be moving towards that AC for sure. Oh, up in the top here, Hani. Hopefully he can zip out in time. Oh, that was a close one. Stompa trying to crowd control him. And Hani is going to make it. Nice use of the high ground there. He is totally out of mana. Going to sip up that bottle a little bit, but going to escape. That slippery dog, that is Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and QPanda's kind of taking it slow right now, but Fnatic definitely with better map control. They just have the way better ganks right now. They don't have to wait for like huge ultimates to like relocate is nice and all, but they don't even really need it. They just need to just be able to find them, separate at any time, and just Avalanche Charles will get a kill. So will Storm Spirit with his ultimate too, and yeah, QPanda can't really punish them for it too. I thought that Fnatic was gonna pressure a little bit harder. That RP and Fiend's Grip were used for an Elder Titan, but it looks like they're comfortable to farm. Tiny is just getting ridiculously massive.
Yeah, I mean, look at that net worth chart. I've had it up, but I hadn't looked at it in a few minutes here. Tiny at about 15k, leading farmer of QPAD is Clinks, right around 7.5. That is a pretty sizable disparity, to say the least here. Although Fly may get initiated on, they're going to poke forward here. Moonlight Shadow is going to be used for the initiation. And Era, he is not scared. He's going to go straight in. That'll be the end of the Bane to start things off. Hand of God comes out. And, yeah, in comes everything else. The Dust's going to be used. This is just going to be a massacre. Fnatic did trade their Crystal Maiden in exchange for 4. Make it 5. Clink's going to go down as well. Era going to grab a triple kill, and I think that's going to be GG. Yep, there it is. Wagamama going to tap out. And Fnatic going to take it. 23 minutes in. 17-12. The classic Wisp Tiny works again here for Fnatic. Very convincing.
Yeah, a little bit of a shaky early game by Fnatic, but they definitely have the stronger mid-game lineup. Just as soon as Wisp hit level 6, it was just a different game from there. And QPAD, they held in there a little bit early, but just their lineup, just no synergy. Yep. Besides Bane and Mirana.
Yeah, exactly as you pointed out in the draft, that lack of just team fight cohesion. And unfortunately, Magnus getting that slow blink did hold back their momentum a bit as well. But QPAD, 2 stand-ins. Of course, it is sort of a shame that to play with stand-ins here does make things just a little bit more difficult. We do have one more match coming up for you guys today. It's been a long day of Starladder Season 8 Day 10 coverage, but we alas have our ace match coming up here. Aspera facing off against 4 Friends and Krilly, but are we actually going to have that match? I said it out loud, and I just realized, hey, 4FC don't have a roster right now, Merlini. They forfeited to Fnatic earlier, and I think that might be it. I'm going to cut the VOD here,
for them,
and then we're going to reevaluate here. I'm going to get confirmation. So sit tight, guys.